everyone, it's Nikki with Photography 101 Basics Video 2. So this is like the third time I've tried to record this. I'm trying to get used to my webcam and with the lighting because the first video was obviously dark. I don't want to have constant dark videos. So let's hope this and pray that this works. So today we're going to be going into manual mode. I would say grab your camera. Again, I'm going to be using my Nikon D7100. On my lens, I have my 35mm prime lens again, but I'm going to switch to help you out with your, you might have the 18-55. Most cameras that you buy for the beginners are with 18 to 55mm. So I will pop that on there and help you out. So to begin this, make sure you're putting your camera back into a manual from the first video. So a little recap: you want to put this on manual, you want to put this one on manual, and you want to put this in a manual. This one right here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put all that on manual, and if you didn't recap on your booklet, this is my manual. I always have it with me just in case something happens. Like, you never know. I've had some weird things happen. My clients can tell you that. So if your camera, you need to go into your menu and set it in manual mode, please do, because you're going to want to put in all manual mode. Then also, if I had some questions about putting it in RAW. If you have Adobe Lightroom or Adobe Photoshop, please put it in RAW. Later on, I'm gonna teach you how to edit those photos. As far as the people that do not have it, I would definitely go and invest. Adobe Lightroom is not very expensive. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Target, you can get it at Best Buy. It's a very good program. And that will be the program that I first teach. So we're going to do that. Or what you can do is there's free programs out there like GIMP. I obviously don't suggest using it, but in the meantime, you can edit in RAW. So go on Google free versions of Photoshop or free versions of Lightroom. I don't know if there's free versions of Lightroom. So go and do that. Put it on there, and that way you can shoot in RAW, because I wanna go and help you out as best as you can, even with your budget. Another thing you can do is you can get a membership for Adobe. You can go to adobe.com and you can get the membership. I don't remember how much it is, but you can get Lightroom a monthly membership. It ends up being more expensive, but at times, right now, it could be even less expensive for you if it's like $10 a month or whatever it is. That way you can get Lightroom in your door, and that way, because it's very crucial. Do not go on your, online and go to the PicMonkey or something. You are destroying your pictures. It is not a professional way. I used to do it a long, long time ago. It is just the dumbest thing to do for your pictures. You're losing a lot of the data. You can take good pictures, but you are taking away your pictures. So let's go shoot in RAW, and let's focus on getting in a program on your computer, and let's work with it. Just whatever it is, just let me know if you need any help. So I will be here to help you. Okay, so let's get started. Let's turn your camera on. Open. Take your cap off your lens, and you're gonna look into the viewfinder. The viewfinder is obviously this piece right here. You're going to make sure you see these numbers on the bottom. Okay. So you have a number on the left. It could be 3 or 4 digits. Then you have, it says F, and with a number, like it could be like 2.8 or something. And then you have this line 0 plus sign. Well, that's a negative and a 0 and plus sign with these little dots. and then you have another number in these little brackets. With I'll give this away already. The number within the brackets on the way right is the number of images you have left on your SD cards. So that's out of the box. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna start with the first number on the way left. When you look in your viewfinder, that is the shutter. When you push the button, hear the click, that takes the picture. That noise that you hear is the shutter. So basically what a shutter technically is. Okay, let's do an example for let's do a person running or a car moving. The higher the number, the faster your shutter will be and the quicker you will get the motion. Meaning, so if someone's running by you, the quicker you can snap that person and it will be stopped. Like basically if I'm moving and you want to stop my motion, the quicker the number, the higher the number, the quicker you'll get it. Now if you want to get some of the motion blur, you've probably seen some of those pictures out there where a car is going by and you see the light and it's a motion. The lower the shutter number, the slower the shutter is, and the slower, the more motion you get. So you'll get a motion blur. So the lower the number, more motion blur. The higher the shutter speed, so the higher the number, the quicker you will snap the frame, making it freeze. So it'll freeze the motion. So you won't see any blur motion. So the higher the number, freezes the motion. The lower the number, you will see blur. Very simple. That's shutter. The next number you look in is the f-stop. F-stop. You're like, what the heck is an f-stop? F-stop is aperture. The big word aperture. 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 So you're wondering what that is. Okay, so you have a little buggy on a leaf and you want to get that buggy in focus, but the leaf and all the rest of that out of focus. Well, that is the focal range. You want a large focal range. So the lower the number, the larger the focal range is. So you can really focus on a bunch of different things in that photo. The larger the number, the lower the focal range, meaning you don't have much to work with for focal range. So let's use examples. Let's go back to the buggy example on a leaf. You get a buggy, you have a leaf, and you just want to focus on the buggy. So basically you're going to have a low number, so the lower the number, to focus on the bug. So we'll say 3.2 for an f-stop if your lens goes that down. Your 1855 is probably going to be a 5.6 because you're going to be zoomed in with your camera. So you're going to zoom in, so I'm pretty sure you can only go up to 5. The lowest number you can do is a 5.6 because when you make it wide, then you can go down to an f 3.5. Most of those lenses are down to 3.5. So 5.6 on the 1855 millimeter. My prime lens that I have, the 35, will go down to 1.8, which is woo amazing, but I don't go that low. So you're focused on the buggy, and you have it at, we'll say you're 5.6, so you're gonna focus, and you got the focus on the bug, and everything else, the leaves, whatever else is around that buggy, is out of focus. So there's a blur that, like, it's an out of focus, beautiful bokeh. We call bokeh an out of focus backdrop, but out of focus background or anything like that. Beautiful. We love that in photography. Bokeh, we love you. So let's go back to the bigger the number, the lower of a focal, the less focal range you have. So we have a landscape, beautiful mountains, clouds, a beautiful sunset. Well, the bigger the number, that is what you want for a landscape. So like F18, F16, F22, something like that would be great. You don't need have a huge a focal zone. So F18 is a great. F16 is great. Large number, the higher in the number for groups is good too. So if you have a large f-stop number, you can really get a good group size in there with everyone in focus. Now if you use a lower number, a lower f-stop number, you're only going to get a couple people in focus in a big group. So that's what you don't want. So big groups, make them bigger f-stop. Like use a bigger number f-stop. Smaller group, like 2, 3, can actually use a lower f-stop because of the focal range. If you have a group, especially if they're right next to each other, that's one focal range. So we can really work with that. So f-stop again, recap, lower the number, so the lower the number, the bigger focal zone, making it blurry, a blurred background, making you be able to focus on different zones more. Bigger number, less focal range. So like a landscape, you can focus on a landscape. So lower the number, more bokeh, blurred backdrop you have, and more of a focus on your subject. Bigger the number, lower focal range, but you get more in focus, so you have a whole like area that you can focus on. Like so landscape for bigger numbers, lower numbers, subject or an object that you would just want to focus on. A great thing to do that with is if you line like for instance pumpkins, you line them up one after another. So you do one pumpkin in front of the other and then play with the focal range. So try to focus on the front pumpkin, middle pumpkin, last pumpkin. That's a great way to practice, or even subjects. So that's that. And then you have ISO. ISO settings. You can go. You don't see that in your viewfinder. You have to go in your menu, and you have to go under your camera settings, and you go ISO sensitivity settings. Basically, you want to set it to what your lights are. So if you are in the middle of the day or sometime with the sun, a beautiful, good light, you want to use a lower ISO number. If you're in the dark, you want to go a higher ISO lighting, a number. Basically, it's light that the camera is taking in, like already taking in. So it's putting light into the camera so you can see more. So it puts light that you need for your camera. So you don't need any extra lighting when you have a beautiful sun shining down. So that's why you need a lower number for ISO, and for dark evening times you want a higher ISO because it's harder to see. Think of your eyes. When you're in the dark, you can't really see, so you need extra light. So the camera with the ISO settings will get that light, and then when you're in the sun, you're like, oh, let's put on some shades. Well, that's why basically the ISO, you put at a lower number. So that's basically how to explain those. So basically, if you have any questions for those, let me know. I'm about to show you how to work, and you'll be like, how do you know what settings to use during for all the settings? Well, I'm about to put my 1855 lens on, because that's a beginner, and I know most of you have that type of lens. Even in Canon, it's a similar lens. Okay, so you're going to go look in your viewfinder, and you will notice that little bar that it looks like a negative, 0, plus with these little lines. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your MIT meter. That is going to tell you your exposure, your settings. So, you're going to look back in your viewfinder again. You can change that. The negative means it's underexposed. The positive sign is overexposed. The 0 is good exposure. So you're wondering how you move it, right? Well, you have to move your shutter toggle, and you have to move your aperture toggle, the f-stop. On the Nikon D7100, this is the aperture, the f-stop toggle. So, someone like the D30,000, I guess there's a button, and then it's the same toggle for the shutter and everything. You might have to go back to your manuals to figure that out, or even go and Google your camera dummy book. It'll tell you. Just Google it. How to toggle my shutter and my aperture in manual mode for my camera, like whatever camera it is. It'll tell you. You need to know that in order to do it. So basically, you're going to find this. And again, this is my aperture. And this right here is my shutter toggle. You're going to look back in the viewfinder, and you will notice that the numbers are moving. What you're going to do is you're going to move those toggles for a little bit, and you're going to try to get that number, those things, to close to 0 as you possibly can. If you have to move your ISO up a little bit, higher number, because you might be inside, obviously, go ahead, because obviously it's darker inside versus outside. But when you go outside, change the ISO back to at least 100 or 200, because obviously if you have a beautiful sunny day or even white snow up there in the northern areas, going to be bright. So just know that set it back to lower icings. But right now, you can do a higher ISO, so that way you can practice while on the video. So go back in your viewfinder, get that 0 into, get those little lines closest to 0 as you possibly can, by moving the toggles, and then take a picture. You're going to realize, wow, okay, the settings, okay, my color is off, it's not white balanced. But you're going to be like, oh, wow, okay, it's not dark, because if you just went and took a picture and setting a manual, you're like, oh, wow, it's ridiculously dark or ridiculously bright. Well, that's why. You have to set these settings on your own. So basically, you got those all set. Now, to learn how to focus, because obviously when you looked at the picture, like, wow, it's not in focus. Why not? Well, you have to manually focus and manually zoom. So, okay, so go to your lens, your beautiful 1855 or whatever lens you have. You see this grip right here? Move it. Oh, that is your zoom lens. This is the zoom grip, the zoom. So if you go look in your viewfinder, zoom in and zoom out. All right, look at that. Take a picture. Obviously, it's blur. Well, that's where the focus comes in. You see this grip in the front here. Well, this, ma'am, ladies and gentlemen, is your focal focus. Okay, go look in. You can play with your focus. Oh, look at that. Pretty sharp right there. And then you can play with your zoom. Focus in, focus out, focus in, focus out. And bam. Take a picture if you like. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you just learned manual. Yay! So, what I want you to do is you're going to go outside, make sure you have a low ISO, and make sure you know how to set your shutter speed and your f-stop. And remember the meter that I told you in your camera. Some of the meters are here on your screen. I know the more of a beginner cameras, you're gonna see this screen right here. So just pay attention to that, and you'll be good. So just focus on the meter. You'll see it. It could be here. It could be in your viewfinder. And let me know if you have any questions. Go play with some pumpkins. Go outside. Play with your focal range. Remember, the lower the number for your f-stop, you have a higher focal range, meaning you have more to focus with. The higher the number, more of a landscape kind of shot you can get. You'll get more things in a one type of focal range. So there's not much to focus with. Like you really don't have much to really have to do focal ranges with, but you get all of this to focus, so you don't need to worry about focusing on like, oops, I focused on a cactus over the whole sunset. Like, that's what's great about that. So low ISO, play with your shutter. Remember, low shutter means more motion. Higher shutter means the faster you stop the motion. And there you go. Let me know if you have any questions. My email is Nicole, NICOLE at photos, PHOTOS, by NRL.com. Email me or even just question me under this video. I look forward to the next video where I'm going to be showing you about histograms, how to read histograms, how to look at histograms on your camera. It's a big thing for manual. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all. Goodbye. Have a good